A U.S. official says surveillance flights over Syria started today to identify potential targets in the case against White House in case White House approves airstrikes against Islamic State militants.
Yeah, House Homeland Security Chair Michael McCaul called the militants the greatest threat we've seen since 9/11. KVU's Mark Wiggins has an exclusive interview with the Republican Texas congressman as part of our recess roundup. And Mark, we hear intelligence officials are concerned about some of these fighters with European ties.
Well, that's right, Terry. It's an issue Chairman McCaul is particularly interested in. His district spans from Austin to Houston, and we caught up with him at a recent stop here in town.
I just got back from the Middle East.
Addressing business leaders in West Austin, Central Texas Republican Michael McCaul answered questions about the growing threat of cyber attacks on American commerce. We spoke with the House Homeland Security Chair the day after the release of video of an American journalist's beheading at the hands of Islamic State militants, also called ISIS.
ISIS presents the greatest threat that we've seen since 9/11.
The group includes thousands of Westerners who've joined the fighting in Iraq and Syria, and McCaul said keeping it there through military pressure and political reform is critical.
They are true jihadists, but they have greater access to Turkey, Western Europe. They have legal travel documents. Some of them have already traveled to the United States and back, one a suicide bomber. Intelligence officials and myself are very concerned about an imminent attack that could happen in the United States if we don't stop them overseas.
Meanwhile, state and federal resources continue to be consumed by the border crisis in Texas. McCaul said the last-minute measure passed by House Republicans is a good start, but with the Department of Homeland Security running short on border funds, work on a measure that can pass both chambers when Congress returns will be a top priority.
I think we have to, and if the Senate would pass something, we can go to conference and work things out. I don't know if there's a willingness on Senator Reed's part to do that. So in the absence of that, what will happen is the department, in conjunction with the appropriators, will have to reprogram monies to direct it towards the border. That's not the ideal situation, but it's the sort of last fallback measure, if you will.
So operations will not freeze to a halt?
No.
McCaul plans to increase pressure on the administration this fall to pass his bipartisan border security measure that cleared committee more than a year ago. He also vowed to continue efforts to redirect critical tech assets to the region.
Things like aerostats, aviation assets, these fixed towers and mobile towers, sensor surveillance technology, it's all available if we can just deploy it and put it down on the southwest border. I think we can go a long ways. In my judgment, talking to the Chief of Border Patrol, we can get this done in 2 years if we do this right.
Congress returns in just 2 weeks. Until then, we'll continue to check in with our delegation one by one. Mark Wiggins, KV News.
Mark, thank you. It is the first day of school in Round Rock.
And